All right, everybody, welcome back to Comics Only. That's right, the first episode ever with video. We're getting professional around here. My guest today is comedian, writer, and videographer, apparently, Brian Kohatsu. How you doing, dude?
Fine, Eric. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad you could be here. You have no idea. Literally.
I help him set up everything.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
That's exactly how that works. Pull that mic a little closer to you. Okay. They're a little temperamental.
Okay.
Yeah, there. You sound great. How long have you been doing comedy?
I've been doing a comedy.
Yeah.
I was going to say I know better to bring the microphone closer to my mouth. Anyway, I like that you reminded me. That's cool.
No, I'm sorry.
Comedy, let's see. I've been a stand-up for 14 years now. I did improv before that, and then I did radio, where I did comedy radio with sketches and things like that before that, which was about, so like I said, 14 for stand-up, maybe 17 for improv, and 20 overall if you include the whatever.
Wow. And all here in the Valley.
All in the Valley, yeah.
Wow. So you've seen probably a lot of changes.
Oh, yeah.
Like over the years of just so many different faces.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And none of these people know my face anymore. All you younger comics.
No, that's not true.
No.
People know who you are, Brian. I mean, they sure do, man.
They might know who I am, but they don't know what I do.
They don't know you're a comedian.
Yeah, most people say, I didn't know you were a comedian, right?
That's so rude.
Yeah.
But to be fair,
it's not rude. They don't know.
No. I was going to say, to be fair to them, if I were you, I'd use my position at the club to get a lot more stage time than you do. I remember the first time Devin was like, yeah, Brian performed tonight. I was like, really? At the open mic? I was like, I didn't realize. That's how I learned you did comedy, is somebody told me you went up at the open mic, and I was like, he's never done that before.
Yeah, just Lamar, when was that? It was a while ago. It was like one of the first ones. Lamar said, hey, do you want to go up?
Yeah.
Said, all right. So then he booked me for the next week. I'm just turning my phone down because I'm a professional. There we go. Oops. Yeah. No, Lamar asked me, and I was like, oh, okay, fine. So I went up, and then that's when I realized nobody knew I did comedy at all.
Right.
Because when I got off, it was just a barrage of high fives. Like, oh man, like that guy's been listening in the booth, and this is his first time
doing this a decade.
He did pretty well. He did pretty well closing out the show in 10 minutes. Like, you did okay. It's just so funny.
Special.
Everybody's
dry bar. Yeah.
But the funny comments I get, like Randall Rosie was like, I didn't know you did comedy, you know? And then somebody else came up to me after they somehow saw my dry bar special, and they're like, hey man, I didn't know you did comedy.
Yeah.
It's Thomas Eskin. He goes, that's cool, man. You don't talk about it or nothing. I said, what am I supposed to do? Walk around going, hey everybody, I did dry bar.
Yeah, watch my special. Please watch my special.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it sounds like when you do that. Yeah,
it is pretty desperate, but please watch my special. No one else is.
Yeah, I think you're touching on like a really important concept actually right now, which is that it's impossible trying to get any attention on us as like it feels so it's so daunting. I don't know. It feels like there's so many people out there trying to do what we do.
Yeah.
And not that many people that care.
Yeah. Well, everybody's focused on themselves.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
And one thing I will say about your comedy scene versus when I started out is there's way more. There's the guys you come up with, and you're all friends, and you support each other, and you hope the best for everybody doing their thing. But the scene itself was pretty divided. I mean, there was clubs that didn't like other clubs, and that still kind of exists a little bit, you know, but not nearly to the degree of the Facebook. I know you guys have. I say you guys, it's a separate generation is how I look at it. Yeah. But there's always going to be that going around. But it was pretty vicious back, you know, when I started off, because people were just like, no, you do not do that club. Don't bother coming back here with that. And then it was, you know.
That's scary.
Yeah. So it's a lot better watching you guys being able to float around. And
now that it's kind of a more of a do-it-yourself world, I feel like there's more room for everybody to be friends rather than everybody fighting for a few spots at certain clubs. And then the clubs are telling you not to do other clubs.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. And every club, though, still has its little, you know, they've got the group of people they like to use and that. I mean,
sure.
There's a lot of clubs I'm shocked when I get booked at certain other clubs.
Yeah.
But.
Really? Shocked?
Well, I'm not. well, as this goes on, you'll realize I wear too many hats and I do too many things.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't really try to get on a lot of times, but then I will actually get a phone call, Tempe Improv, hey, can you do this? And then can you do this? It's, you know, one weekend I did Tempe Improv, and then I did stand up live that same weekend.
That's fun.
Whereas then poof, then I'm invisible for the rest of the year. But every once in a while, you know, it's I fit a special need because I'm a clean comic, so.
Oh, interesting. Sure.
I don't know why I use the term special need. Clean comics are not special need.
Well, I disagree. No, I'm kidding.
Special breed.
It's actually so much more impressive when a comic's clean and you're just like, this is great, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, something about it. Like Nate Bargatze, however you say his last name, is the perfect example. You're like halfway through, you're like, oh, he hasn't sworn at all. That's cool.
Yeah, and Nate's journey has been one of those that's been, you know, very slow and quiet, but big at the same time.
Right, yeah.
And then, like, after SNL hosting, you know, everybody knows who he is. It's just, I mean, everybody kind of knows who he is anyway, but now on a bigger scale, when you've done SNL, now people who don't follow comedy and just watch SNL, they all know who he is. And then, like whenever it was, right after that weekend, he was on the college football thing.
Right.
And of course, he picked some team.
I was on a comedy message board on the internet the other day, and somebody was like, how does your scene feel about clean comics? And like, do they do well in your scene? And somebody was like, the biggest clean comic in our scene just got SNL, so I think they do fine.
Yeah. There it is right there. Yeah. Exactly. I opened for Nate one time.
Whoa, really?
And it was, the timing's very interesting on this.
Yeah,
so I opened for him, and it was literally, that was a Saturday night, and then that following Thursday was the very first time he ever did the Tonight Show.
Cool.
So he was like,
it's like right before his
yeah, because that first show he did with Fallon, I think that's when Fallon gave him his development deal at NBC. So I mean, he literally was just like, cool. We just went, you know, him and actually Tom Sims from Stir Crazy. We went out afterwards, and then we were talking, and he was just like, yeah, this is how old this story is. He said, yeah, you just got to get out there, and there's this thing called Pandora. You got to put your clips on Pandora. All right. Yeah. I'll look into Pandora.
You're dating yourself a little there. Nate Bargatze, he told me to get on Pandora.
Yeah. So
that's really cool, though.
So if you learn anything from this podcast,
get on there.
Get on Pandora.
Yeah.
So.
What's the other one? Sirius XM. Get on there too.
There's a handful of them. So, but no, I don't know. There's a lot of guys in the clean scene too, but like, you know, I'll talk about this because this is one thing I know. Listening, and I'm an avid listener.
I didn't bring that up. I meant to.
And then, now that it's video,
I should have included that in your introduction.
I'm the guy watching this show.
This is the reason this podcast happens.
Audience,
like at least 3 of the guests have been booked because I heard you mention, like, I'd like to hear what they have to say.
I do. I don't, you know.
Raven, talking about you in particular. Dude's a lunatic.
But, you know, I just, you know, I'm at Stir Crazy, you know, and I see the open mic there, and I see everybody as they come through. But I don't get out to the scene. I just don't. You know, I got too much going on sometimes, and I don't get out. Everyone, I'll try, you know, like.
Right. And hey, let me say real quick. That open mic is not a representation of the scene. That mic represents who, like, was lucky enough to get the lottery that week.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people I see there. I see nowhere else. I'm like,
crazy though. Fuck? As hard as it is to get on the open mic, then you have the guys who go up and don't do anything with it.
You telling me, dude? I'm there every week trying to get a standby spot, thinking, why does this clown get to go on and not me?
Sometimes if it's like a first timer, those are the ones that crack me up. They're like, they're looking at the lights. Wow. No, you know, I'm always, you know, because I keep the time. I look and I'm like, they're 40 seconds in, and they're still talking about the lights. And it's great to be here.
Yeah. How y'all doing tonight?
And give it up for Lamar. I don't know if you saw, I put out a video. Give it up for Lamar. It's 1 minute of give it up for Lamar. Lamar, man. Give it up for Lamar. Give it up for my man Lamar. You know? I mean, we all love Lamar. And, you know, and I think he knows it. Yeah. You know, but it's like everybody, especially when they end their set. Yeah. All right, let's bring back Lamar. Give it up for Lamar. It's like either they tank and they immediately go to Lamar to try like let's clap for something else. Other than I didn't do well. Okay, all right.
I feel personally attacked right now, but that's okay. No, I often the first thing I say is just like make some noise for the host, just to make my voice work.
Yeah,
because like I hate when I like say something. I fuck up a setup because something's up with my voice.
Right.
So it's just like, can I
spit?
Yeah, right.
Like,
that I didn't realize about. Yeah. Basically, though, not. Hopefully, not to that extreme, but sometimes it's like a little bit not.
No one's ever hawked a loogie toward the audience yet.
Not a stare crazy.
We all see our own spit every once in a while fly out of our mouth when we're talking, but
What rooms were you working before Stir Crazy was a club?
I don't even want to talk about it.
How many clubs are like come and gone?
They're closed.
No,
the main one I used to go to is closed. I don't want to talk about that one.
Sure, no worries.
Anybody can come talk to me after the show. I'll talk to you about it. No, I mean, Tempe Improv was the big one and the only big club we had in town at the time.
Is Stand Up Live pretty new?
And Stand Up Live was new. That's a whole nother history of that thing, Stand Up Live coming in and Tempe Improv. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because I know that they're owned by the same people now. So
now, they weren't then.
Right. Sure. Interesting.
So there's a whole history there. I don't want to talk about that either.
You got a lot of stuff you don't like talking about, Brian.
There's a lot of things you can talk about, and some are going to be rumors. And
this guy knows things.
You know what I mean? But that's what I mean. There's a lot of politicking and things going
always,
on. And, always. So,
and this is a podcast, so we're not going to get into it.
So, but there was a few clubs back then, but now, you've got, between Tempe Improv, Stand Up Live, House of Comedy, us, of course, Mic Drop, Mania. There's a lot of clubs, at least now
CB Live,
everybody can spread it out. Yeah. And get some more, plus the open mic scene too. There's something every night. So it's great. Everybody can get up.
Yep.
But cracking into the clubs is the main thing.
It's tough, man. It's real tough.
Yeah.
You gotta,
even for me, it's just like, because there's those, like, again, those groups of people that are in there that hold the power to whether you get booked or not. You're not always, there's a lot of, nowadays everybody brings their feature, so it's even harder to try to get in sometimes.
And those people all have their own motivations. Like, I've said this a lot, like, how funny you are has very little to do with how much you get booked very often. Like, you have to be funny enough. Don't get me wrong. You can't be bad enough that, like, they're like, I can't book this guy. But, like, at a certain level, it stops mattering, like, who's the funniest, and it matters who likes being around who.
Right.
Who will take less money than who. Like, there's a whole bunch of things.
Oh, I've heard you talk about if you're going to go do a show and you can bring somebody, who are you going to bring? The funniest guy or the guy you can tolerate in the car?
I do that a lot.
You know? So, but that's just it. It's the networking and everything. You've got to talk to people, get to know everybody, and everybody knows you. So, like, I was at Mic Drop the other night and saw Brian Curley there, and then we were just talking. He goes, "You do clean, right?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, I could have used you a couple weeks ago." He goes, I got to write that down and remember that, because out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
It's just how it works.
You're
not constantly, but that's just it. Where's the threshold of how much you're bothering somebody? Hey, man, you got any time for me? Hey, man, you got any time for me? Versus, okay, enough already. I've been getting your emails, your text messages, your messenger. Just back off. When I've got it, I'll put you on,
Yeah.
I feel bad for, like, anybody who books, because they get that constantly.
Yeah.
I know Lamar.
Oh, yeah, he'll complain about it. If you have a car ride with him, he'll go in on that.
We were hanging out the other night after open mic, and that always comes up.
Yeah.
And I think he does a great job of being very fair to everybody.
Oh, dude, he puts so much effort into being fair. Yeah.
And he is. He's the other night too. He even said to me, he goes, "Man, you remember, if you want to go up." I said, "Oh, I know."
No, that's all.
I know.
Yeah. That's so funny.
I'm calling in those favors when I need. Believe me.
You're like, I know. I know who I am. And
thank you for the offer.
That's really funny. Yeah, actually. Maybe he's just telling you should go up more.
I have keys to this place, right?
Yeah. We could literally do this.
I could drive the car. But that's one thing. I don't try to take advantage of that at all.
Right.
If I had something, like before I did my dry bar, definitely I went up. I called in a lot of favors during that period.
That makes sense.
But if I've got something else coming up too, and I haven't been on stage for a while, then I'll hit them up.
Right.
So, And he's always great.
Right. But it's just you're not abusing the power.
Right. And I don't do it like, on Tuesday night, like, hey, can I go up tomorrow night? And then he has to try to squeeze me. I don't do that.
Right.
I'll try to do it at least, 2 weeks to a month out at least.
And we're talking about the 10-minute spot right now, obviously. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. I was imagining you bothering somebody for 3 minutes. No. I was like, that can't be what we're talking about.
That's the funny thing, too, is like, I would love to go up and just do a brand new 3.
Yeah.
But if it was somebody seeing me for the very first time, then you got to, this is a stupid part of comedy.
No.
It's like, I don't want to be, it's like, if that's the first time somebody ever saw me, they're like, oh, he's trying.
Yeah.
Like if they don't know who I am at all, like.
No, it's a real thing.
Yeah. Look at this old fart getting up there trying to do something. It's like, what? These are new stuff.
It's crazy how fast you'll make up an opinion about a stand-up comic based on like a set or two. You're like, oh, they suck. And then you're like, probably not. They probably just trying new jokes at a bad open mic.
See them at the off night. And then you see them the first time, they're terrible. And then you see them 3 weeks later or something. You go, oh, man, you got pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, no, I was good. You just saw the weird night,
Yeah.
But it's.
I featured on Lamar's open mic at the beginning of October, and I had a really good set. And afterwards, there's a couple people that have only seen me at mics, and they were like, "Good set tonight." I was like, "No, this is pretty you've just seen me."
Yeah.
Trying new horrible jokes, lashing out at other comics because I'm mad they don't want to laugh at me.
Right. I mean, you have to have an audience. You have to have a legit audience, and. That playing to the back of the room thing is just, it's fun for the moment, but it doesn't
translate to club success at all. Yeah. There's a lot of comics that are great at it that struggle in rooms like Stir Crazy. Even I when I worked the weekend there and hosted some of those shows, I was like, man, these crowds are a little tough, man.
Well, that's just it as a host. You take the bullet for the whole room. Yeah. You got to go up there cold and you got to figure them out quick. I mean, I always look at the crowd. How old are they?
Yeah,
they're skewing younger, or and trying to figure out what they want from you, and then try to give them that as quickly as possible. But
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, every host has to take that bullet, and then you just go from there. Yeah, and that's just it. By the time you hit your stride, your time's up.
Yep.
And then you're like,
let's give it up for the next funny person.
And then they ride that wave for the rest of the show, and
right?
But yeah, you have to go
But nothing makes you better. A better comic than hosting and learning how to turn on a crowd.
Yeah.
So
we used to host so many, like Mike James and I used to host open mics, and we used to do at the club that shall not be named. There were three open mics on a Sunday night. So it was like,
whoa, what? Three separate. Sorry,
three separate with about 18 comics each.
Okay.
So he might do the first one, I'll do the second, he'll do the last one. So rotate through. But I mean, you're constantly up. You're constantly, you start off the show, you get it rolling. Then if somebody tanks it, then you're trying to bring the audience back up. So it's great training. I mean, you just hit it. But I mean, it's unfortunate not every comic is a good host. Some of their style just doesn't work for it,
and they don't adjust well.
So you gotta. But if you can host, my gosh, take the stage time and do it. 10 minutes.
You get to meet headliners, features. It's good best. I love hosting. To be honest,
it's a good I've even told Tom I don't care. I'll host.
Right.
He just wants to. Whenever I get booked as a feature, but I tell him all the time, I'll host if you want me to, and he's like, no. He wants to give the opportunity away too.
Interesting. Yeah.
And that's what Tom's great about is he does give a lot of people a shot at hosting.
Yeah.
But I'm the break glass case of emergency guy. So if somebody bails,
you're there. Yeah.
Brian, you at the club tonight? Yeah. Okay. So-and-so's not coming, which happened, I think it was 4 weeks ago.
Dang.
And then ta-da,
That's so crazy. I mean, hopefully it was like an emergency or something. It's crazy to imagine blowing off a club spot day of.
You'd be surprised.
I bet I would.
I won't name names, but then suddenly it's like, oh, I can't.
And you're like,
why? I forgot to book something else. They won't tell you what they booked or anything else.
That's unacceptable.
Sometimes, but legit, if they do get something a little bit bigger and it's a better thing, I mean, Tom's not opposed to you had a better opportunity. Great.
That's cool. That's a very healthy attitude.
Don't tell us at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, day of.
Yeah. And that's happened a few times. I'm not feeling good. Really? Okay. Just now? You don't want to muscle through it? No, not really. migraine. Well, okay.
Crazy.
So,
yeah.
And those are the things, unfortunately,
people remember.
Mm-hmm. We don't forget.
Yeah.
We forgive. We forgive.
Yeah.
There's some people that have made comments and then we forgave them. They've come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're just people.
Yeah.
We're not monsters.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you're doing the work and you're putting it in, that was a thing where we've had younger comics make stupid comments.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're saying. And then you're like, no, they're young or they're new to the scene. They don't know what's going on. They don't realize how important this should have been to them, but it wasn't. And it's not life or death to us,
Right.
But as long as you see they're putting in the work and they kind of understand, oops, I screwed up.
Yeah.
So we'll have them back. I mean,
yeah. It's easy to make mistakes, but
yeah.
Also, you got the amount of people that run the light at the club. I'm like, do you not know where you are right now? Like, it's like, I run the light at open mic, like dog shit open mics. It's like, nobody here matters. I'm going to take another minute. Like, I'm an asshole, but you can't do that at the club.
Well, so you get, boom, you got 3 minutes.
You got 3 minutes.
Okay. Do the best 3 minutes you can, but it doesn't mean 3 minutes and change. Yeah. I mean, figure it out. Go 240, 245 at least. That's what you should have planned and or rehearsed, and get off before.
I'm not going to name any names either, but the other night somebody literally saw they were running the light and told you not to play them off.
Yeah. It's like, all right.
Then she was like, no, don't play the music yet. I was like, what the hell is happening? You think people are not going to forget that?
Yeah. And some people too, I mean, I know them and I'll be like, come on. And like, if I know they're rapping and I know how close they are to rapping, if it's 5 seconds, I'll give them the grace of it. But sometimes it's just like,
oh no, you can.
Nope.
That's fun.
Bring in the saxophone, bring in wind. Yeah. And then some people just, I don't know, man. It's a good message for all the comics who do listen to the show. Be nice to the staff wherever you are, because they remember.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, the attitude sometimes we get at the door when the comics check in is just so like, Yeah. And I'll remember that. And I'm hoping you run the light.
Here we go. Trigger finger ready.
Ready. And you're off, And
everybody, and all the people that work at clubs are so great. Like, they're also
week
nice.
after week, you deal with all these different personalities all the time.
Yeah.
And so you have to adjust for everybody and understand, that's just how they are. It's not that they're being a jerk. That's just kind of their personality. And, that's how they are on stage too. That's their thing. They don't mean anything by it. That's just, they're a little abrasive maybe.
But people notice things. It's like, do you tip well? Are you nice when things don't go your way? Like, a big thing with Lamar is when he can't get you up, don't get upset with him. Right? Like, that he's talked to me about people how flip him shit. And it's like, nobody owes you anything. Like,
I tell people all the time.
Settle down a little.
They're like, how do you get booked on it? I'm like, have you ever been to the club? First of all, ever?
Right.
No? Okay. Well, go to an open mic, pay your $5.
Yeah.
Watch it. See what the room's like, see how it's run, all that. But just come and watch it. It's going to cost you $5. That's it. You don't have to buy food or drink. Just go sit, watch,
I love that.
Experience it, network with some of the other comics. Introduce yourself then to Lamar. If you don't know him, just introduce yourself. Say him, hi, I'm a comic,
Right.
I'm new to the Valley. I just want to check out the open mic. Hopefully someday I've been trying to get on it.
Yeah.
At least then he knows you. Right. And if you come back and you're trying to get on the show, at least you're a familiar face.
There's only so many times you can come hang out before he'll get you a standby spot. If he knows you've been trying for 2 months. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then depending on however the night goes, and he's got his little, his little wheel,
Yeah, exactly.
Which is my favorite in the world.
I mean, there's a lot. Sometimes there's a lot of spots.
Oh, right. That thing, I don't know how long it spins for, but he just sits there so concentrated.
Yeah.
I don't even know if this dude's in the room. Okay. All right. Herman Dale, you in the room? All right, come on up.
Yeah. The best is when Lamar forgets to tell whoever's next.
Yeah.
And it's not a standby spot, so the person just has no idea and
they're all
run up there. What?
Those are my favorite moments.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell this dude. He's in the room? Cool. Anyways, this next guy, a real good friend of mine.
How do you feel about using notes on stage?
Open mic, fine, all the time. But if you're booked, don't do it. I mean, I don't know why you're not bringing your A game and just going with your A game. We have plenty of people who come.
Yeah.
They'll put the notebook down, and I'm like, I always pull them aside and go, just do the stuff you know. When we saw you, obviously you didn't have that. So do that material.
Right.
Interesting. Don't be trying anything new. So your job is to like get the crowd ready.
Right.
Not for you to kind of work out your new stuff. You're getting paid tonight. So but anywhere like that, definitely don't do it. Don't do the notes.
I think it's insane.
Yeah.
I never use notes.
I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like one of my students right now is she had brain surgery like a couple different times in her lifetime.
Wow. And
she was telling me I can't really remember stuff. I'm like, that's an excuse, legit. So use notes.
Sure.
Go up, have a card. If you need to look at it, look at it. And I said, talk about it on stage.
Yeah.
People
it's unique.
Yeah. And so she did the other night. She was talking about, she kind of ditched all her notes and just talked, and she was very funny. Good. Funnier than I think her notes
would have. Yeah. Funny how that works.
So she just kind of, she studied improv too, which is probably, helps with that. But yeah, no, I can't stand that.
It's insane.
There was years ago, this lady that I started off with, she would always go up with notes. Constantly had notes. Always grab her notes.
You get dependent on them. It gets to the point where you can't do sets without them, and it's crazy.
Yeah, one night she went up and no notes.
Yeah,
she went up there and she's doing her act, and I literally leaned over to somebody and I said, "She's doing great tonight. She's not even using her notes." Yeah. And then she paused. She grabbed her water and she was about to take a drink, and then she moved it, and you saw her go. Like she had it written on her water bottle, and then her eyes didn't adjust. So then now she's doing the old person looking at the notes, and then she put it down. She never drank out of the bottle, just put it down. I went, we were so close.
A good buddy of mine who hosts an open mic back in Eugene always did that. He'd have the notes between his hand and his beer, and then he'd be like looking at his beer like this, and everybody just like, we know what you're doing.
I've seen it on the hand, I've seen it on the arm. I've seen it a lot. Actually, recently I saw like a whole set written on a forearm. It's like, don't get sweaty.
I just rather forget a joke.
I mean, it's hard.
I hate myself enough after I forget a joke that I don't forget it the next time.
I used to do I used to do plan out my notes on my card. I'd go through and do my little set list. Look at it, test myself, look at it, test myself.
I write set lists sometimes. I just don't ever like bring them out on stage.
I used to put it in my pocket, and I'd say, that's the last time you can look at it. I put it in my pocket, and then I would tell myself, because this is how my brain works. Yeah. Through osmosis, it will go through my butt up to my brain. Just leave it in my pocket. I love that. Yeah. And then as soon as I'm done, I would get off stage and I would look at it and go, yep.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I was like, oh, I forgot that one.
I know. And that can make like a set that went really well feel not that good in a weird way.
The one, right? It's the only one I wanted, the only joke I wanted to do.
It's usually the new one. Yeah.
Where do I fit it in? Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now it's like I've gotten lazy. I don't write out set lists too much.
Right.
I kind of know how much 10, 15, 20, 30.
Feels like, 40, I mean, once you start doing longer time like that, for sure. That's been kind of an interesting change for me coming from Oregon to here. Where I was, there were so few comics compared to here.
Okay.
And not like I don't know how to put this, but like it was just easier to get longer sets. So I was doing like 10, 15, 20s, and even I did a few half hours while I was there.
Okay.
And I've gotten probably 10 minutes is the longest spot I've gotten offered here.
And that's the hardest thing, though, is like it's hard to practice longer sets.
When you're getting 5 to 10 at a time. Yeah. 3 sometimes.
Then what do you do? That's why what I ended up doing is, so Mike James and I, some of you know Mike James. Some of you hate Mike James. And I do too sometimes. And he knows that. He hates me. Because that's what friends do.
That's what friends are for.
No, but like when we started out, where you get your 5, you get your 10, you get your 15, and then we're like really kind of pushing to get to that 20 mark, and it's like, where can we go to do that? And then hopefully something comes up you're closing out a show, not headlining, closing out a show. There's a difference.
Big difference.
But we ended up saying like, we'll produce our own show. Mm-hmm. So we actually rented one of the off nights at a club.
Nice.
Put your money where your mouth is, do that, go up, challenged each other to do 30.
Yeah.
And then we grabbed another comic to host and kind of fill in the gaps. And we did it. We did 30 minutes. Was it good? No. 23 was probably okay. 7 minutes of it sucked throughout, you know. But at least we tried it, and then that was kind of starting to say, okay, we're we're getting better at this and we just need to keep working at it. But it was the first opportunity we had to do that. And then we started doing that, at least once or twice a year.
Right.
Push it to try to get out there, do the longer times and, and train yourself because it is different. You got to try to keep that energy constant, 30 to 45 minutes and not drop and have those lulls.
Yeah.
Because I experienced that early on in a 20-minute set. It'd be like, oh, you're great for 15. And then you dip really hard.
yeah.
And then your closer's fine. And then you're like, I got to fix that or, get rid of that or figure it out. So
definitely is a thing.
But it's constantly trying to figure out that. I mean, if you got good jokes, then it's figure out the order.
Yeah. Doing a longer set will make you realize you have less time than you thought.
Oh, yeah. It's funny is Randy Hausner, the first time I did his show, he goes, hey, man, how much time can you do? I'm like, I do 45. He's like, but how much of that 45 is like real good? Like, real just straight solid. I'd never been asked that question before, and I thought about it. I went, I said, realistically, I think 35.
Yeah.
When you come to think about it, there's some junk in there that's in betweeners, Yeah. He goes, I
got to be honest with myself. Yeah.
I said 35. So he goes, all right, let's just do 30. Just do a solid 30. Just knock it out of the park. I said, all right, fine. Yeah. So, but
that's awesome. No, that's
it
good.
Makes you take an honest look at yourself and go,
yeah.
Even now at times, I've got a couple jokes I still do, which I'll do them for older crowds and they work. But other times I'm like, pull that out.
I mean, I have jokes I love that never work. It's like I don't get it. I think it's so funny.
I know.
Nobody else does.
Like, that's a joke for me.
Yeah.
And apparently only me because no one's laughing.
And then it just goes away forever.
Yeah. Well, you get too cutesy.
Yeah.
I had one I won't even mention, but it was so dumb and it had a reference to an old TV show that was really funny, but like you had to be older to get it.
Sure.
And then if you were too old, you were probably offended by it. So
real narrow window of people for this show.
Usually Mike and I, if I did the joke, he'd always go, I wouldn't do it. No one's going to laugh. And then like if two people laugh, then I'm like, it's one for me because somebody laughed.
Screw you, Mike.
Exactly. So
it's funny.
It's all good.
I have a funny story. I was at the Do Better Mic on Monday.
Oh, okay.
And this guy went up by the name of Willie Sawi. Willie Sawi. It's so funny. And
Willie Sawi?
Yeah, that's what he said his name was. Okay. And like the whole time I can tell like Brandy is like kind of like she's just like kind of like her body language is uncomfortable.
Okay.
And then he gets up and he walks out and she goes up and she's like, I didn't realize this because that guy just shaved, but he's actually banned from this mic. And so he went up by Willie Sawi because it was like an apology for being banned. I guess he used to have like a big beard. This guy's like borderline homeless. I think he may be homeless.
Okay.
And so he used to have a big beard and he shaved, so she didn't recognize him at first. He was banned because he went to do the open mic there and then afterwards left a review on the website of the venue or on the Yelp of the venue.
Okay.
That said, it's not an open mic if there's rules, ! And left a 1-star review, or maybe a 2-star, which is even funnier.
Funny, right? Yeah, but I kind of liked it.
It still wasn't the worst. I got my 5 minutes.
This was terrible, but the staff was great.
They did give 5 minutes to a homeless guy, so I can't give them no stars.
They had running water. That impressed me.
Oh, it's so funny though, and I could tell as soon as he went up that something was off.
Yeah,
just he was. Dude, he said. Devin asked him how old he was, and he was like, I don't know when my birthday is. And he had like a breakdown. He like kind of like sat for a minute, and he's like, I don't know. I was like, what is happening right now? I don't know.
I love the idea of disguising yourself just to go
to an open mic that you're banned from.
Like trying to get up at the same club again the same night.
Many,
trench coat, fake mustache.
And it's like,
for the open mic.
And if he got banned for breaking the rules or whatever, actually, I don't know if he did. I think he just said that I think he just left the bad review. But maybe he did break the rules too. It's like there's plenty of rooms that you can go say whatever you want in the Valley. Like, there's plenty of that. Yeah. There's the Tempe Tavern in particular. Shout out to the host of that mic. He'll go on and start the open mic, be like, all right, this is comedy, guys. There are rules to what you can say. You can't say somebody else's jokes. All right, let's have fun. I was like, okay. Yeah. I thought you were going to say like the N-word or something, but no. Yeah, that room's a little pointless. just there to make the hot or the hot bartenders angry. I don't know. You probably never even been there, huh?
No.
Yeah, good.
Where is it? Which one?
Tempe Tavern.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's one of the worst mics.
I know. I don't know. Every once in a while, somebody asks me, I'll try to go.
Yeah, ground control might be worth checking out on your way to the open mic sometime. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Combine, do like a 5-minute set.
Yeah, because I used to do the other. It's a different location, but it's still ground control. I used to do that one back in the day.
Where's that one at?
It's the same one that you're at, but they moved locations.
Oh,
okay. It was a little smaller place.
Interesting.
But they'd be mixing drinks in the middle of I'd always look at the part.
I hate.
Or I'd say, and then go ahead. Thank you. And then I continue on with the joke because they're like, sorry, because they're not trying to be jerks. They're just doing their job.
You get so good on stage that you can be like, no, just do it real quick. I'm good.
Yeah.
And they blend it, and you're like, all right, back to the show.
It's like I'm gonna take a drink of water. You go hit it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And we're back. Yeah.
But doing horrible rooms like that sometimes that's how you get good at stage presence.
Yeah.
It's not always a good opportunity to run your jokes.
I always say there was one room I used to do a while back, which was they never turned the TVs off. And it was on a Monday night football.
Football's on.
Yeah, everybody's kind of partially paying attention.
Yeah.
And then I always thought, if I can get through, I've got 5 minutes tonight. If I can go from point A to point B, not stutter, anything else, just get through my set, even though no one's listening, and I've got so many distractions, then at least I'm focused on what I'm saying. And those were important to me.
Yeah.
So if to give you an idea, when I did Dry Bar, I'm in the hotel and you got all day, and it's like I got to do something, and it's the middle of pandemic.
Crazy feeling, yeah.
Pandemic. I'd only been up. I called every favor in. I got 18 shows in before, so it was about a month. It was just kind of every night.
Yeah.
So I was sitting in the hotel room. I'm like, I need to work on the set. So what I did was turned the TV on, and I found a movie that I know the dialogue for, and everything else. Played that at a louder volume and just did my set and tried not and faced the TV as my audience.
Yeah.
So that I'm listening to everything I'm really super familiar with. I know what they're going to say, and then just kind of did my thing to just stay focused and do my joke without that distraction.
That's brilliant.
But I did it twice.
Would never have thought of that.
And what movie you ask? That Thing You Do. So we got music too, and I'm like, I can sing to this song because I know the words, but kind of just going through the motions of it, doing my little wham.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Doing my wham
I
dance.
can see that being. I would never have thought of that. I could see that being really productive, actually, and I can imagine just being bored, waiting for the show, being an insane feeling, trying to deal with that.
Other than just sit in silence and go and try to think through your set.
Yeah.
So it was just, that's nothing I learned from anybody. I just taught that to myself.
Right. You just thought it up. Yeah. I've never heard of it before.
Because it's always that's just it. The bar shows are distractions. But again, if you use that to the advantage of just get through your stuff, if any bar show, if a couple people laugh, there's merit to that joke then. If it's if it's brand new and they made them laugh. Mm-hmm. I used to do this thing at those shows, I always walked up and said, all right, man, how's everybody? Good. Who walked in here tonight knowing there was comedy?
Yeah.
Nobody. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Who walked in and went, oh, crap, there's comedy. And they're like a whole room. Yeah. All right. At least, now you know where everybody's at.
Yeah.
And you've kind of gotten their attention a little bit.
Yeah. There's this one story that sticks out in my mind about that. To me, I was at this horrible open mic in Portland at a pizza shop. These guys walk in, see that comedy's happening, and just go, shit, and turn around on the spot. They didn't get slices to go. They had.
Oh, they were done.
We're not even gonna patronize your establishment because you're supporting comedy.
You have comedy here. We're out.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah. A lot of that. A lot of just making people angry.
But it's funny
coming up in the comedy world.
But there's some venues that just think, oh, it'd be good to have an open mic here.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, here?
Yeah.
It's an ice shop, or you sell water and ice. What do you do? But I mean, you could see that totally happening.
Oh, you could, yeah.
There was a restaurant in Prescott that we used to do that was a Indian restaurant.
Uh-huh.
And food from India. clarify that. But the guy loved comedy.
Huh. So he just wanted it at the restaurant.
Wanted it there, and it was just, wonderful food. I mean,
it's funny. It's like maybe the one like downside at ground control right now is that we're at like 6 p.m. and we are catching people coming in for dinner.
Yeah.
If they were open a little bit later, I would run it after the Stir Crazy Mike. But when they wanted it on Wednesdays, I was like, I'm just going to put it at a time where I can still go to Stir Crazy.
Kind of works out well. I mean, so far it sounds like...
It's been great so far.
I mean, your feedback, obviously, you're going to tell me it's good regardless. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I wouldn't.
but the other comics appreciate it, too, because they can still... go to yours and then still come and hit Stir Crazy afterwards.
It's just a little bit nice knowing that you got a set in and then you're going to hang instead of like worrying whether you're going to get on the standby or not.
At least you get one in before.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. And they're right there. I mean, for anybody on the west side, they're close. Devin said it was like 45 minutes for him. Okay. And he's in Tempe. So I don't imagine I'll see very many East Side comics. Yeah. Honestly, if we keep, I told you I'm going to cap it at about 15.
Okay.
If I get that many people signed up, I'll just be like, I don't have any more spots. Sorry.
So you're just doing, how long is everybody doing?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay.
So it's like, because they're not, I haven't asked for money yet. So I don't feel a need to run the show 2.5 hours.
Right.
You know, it's like, I can just make it work for me. It's basically what it is right now is an opportunity to do comedy that's not 40 minutes away from me.
Yeah. No, there's stuff.
You know. Besides Stir Crazy, there's not a lot.
The convenience of being close to your home and being able to go and then still have,
Yep.
Again, if there's, depending on the night and you've got other opportunities in town to go hit another open mic, Yep. I know it's tough. Everybody's so spread out in town, but.
Yeah, I know. It's tough in the Valley, man. That's one thing I miss about Eugene and Portland even. Yeah. Portland, you can get up 3 to 4 times in a night and all the mics are within a half an hour of each other or less.
Yeah, that's great.
And oftentimes it's 10 minutes, It's just a more condensed city.
Right.
Yeah.
But, 10 minutes, that's great.
Yeah.
You do 10 twice in a night?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Especially when you're working on this stuff. It's just keeps it fresh. Go hit it differently. Do it differently at the next one.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a service to the West Valley, and we thank you.
Yeah.
And on behalf of everyone, I thank you for your service.
Yeah. We'll see how long it lasts. I hope a long time.
Yeah.
They seem happy. I don't know. And the comics have been real cool about, like, the first night there was a bunch of kids there. And I was just like, I'm not going to tell you to be clean. Be cool. Like,
right. No. Like, know who's in the room.
It's a 13-year-old kid. He's heard the word fuck. It's going to be okay. But let's not talk about,
Let me tell you my favorite story about that. So
sure.
I can't remember the guy's name. I kind of do. I don't remember his first name that well. Anyways, he's a Tucson comic. And he was up, and there was this room in Cave Creek. It was a restaurant. And comedy starts at 7 o'clock. It's been advertised. The show's been going on for probably at least a year.
Sure.
We go in there, and that particular night, it was close to Christmas, so it was the 12 Comics of Christmas was the theme for the night. And so we got in there, and pre-show, there's a family sitting over there, and the family's got little kids. And so first couple comics went up, and this guy from Tucson goes, well, I had this joke I was going to do, but I'm still going to do it. And so he gets up there, and he goes, I see we have a family over here. Hi, guys. Good to see you. I'm going to just do my material now. So, so you know how there's no Santa Claus? I was like, oh my God. I mean, all of us were like, whoa. I mean, man, and
it's like, can you just talk about porn or something?
Exactly. It's something lighter. The mom was, just instantly furious. The dad was like mad too. And the kids were like, you could tell they were looking at mom and dad like, what?
Yeah. Oh my God.
They wrapped up very quickly and then took off. They were not happy though. But
that's insane.
I thought, man. He's like,
that guy's cool.
And he said they knew there was going to be comedy.
They're like, please, you can corrupt my children. Tell them about smoking, anything horrible.
Yeah.
But not that.
It was so funny, though, because I ran into him. It was a few years after that. It was probably 5 years after that. I ran into him in Tucson. He's like, oh, hey, man, how's it going? I said, I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. He goes, hey, remember that gig we did? I told those kids there was no Santa Claus. I'm like, who could forget? I couldn't tell you one joke of yours, but I remember that. You know? So
I'll remember that for the rest of my life. That's funny.
So I think of that every time I see kids at an open mic. Like, oh, here's a moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was a
exposed of Tooth Fairy. Don't do the big ones.
There were some kids at an open mic a while ago. I was gonna open with a joke about pedophilia, but I can read a room. And one of the comics was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, that's not good. If I made a comic do that, that's okay. Too far. I get it. Sorry.
I always find it weird there was a baby in the room.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it was one time I was at a club.
Yeah,
and there was a baby
and it's crying. Yeah.
So when I went into my ending thing and I'm doing like the big Japanese voice, all of a sudden you hear, ah! And I'm just like, it's like,
this isn't.
I didn't call it out in the moment. I did something, to like, calm down, baby. But it's just so weird. But anytime a baby, like, I'm like, oh, really?
You're like, this, I shouldn't have to deal with this.
Over slap the bottle out of your mouth? Shut up, like. The parents think it's the funniest thing. Like, really, you bring your baby here to heckle at me? Real classy, teaching that kid.
It's insane.
Yeah, just to have a baby.
I get it. They're like, we got to get out of the house. I'm just gonna kill us all if we stay here another night.
We had a couple the other night come with a baby carriage, and we were like, no. And they're like, oh no, we're not gonna bring him in. So it was the two of them and the baby, and then they disappeared for about 15 minutes, and then they came back in and bought tickets. And I said, not that it matters, but what'd you do with the baby? And the guy goes, he looks at the wife. Yeah. No, my mom's watching. We're like, okay, all right, don't be weird. I was like, he's in the car. No, not funny. Okay, So, but yeah, they gave it to the mom, and the mom took off, the mother-in-law.
That's such a comic thing. You're like, I'll ask.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, people say dumb things all the time.
It's not my kid, but...
People walk into the club and say, what do you guys do here? Oh, let's look at the board here. Stir, crazy. Look right underneath here. Comedy club. Can you read? Or what's going on? Like last week, at least 3 people. What are you guys doing here? It's a comedy club.
Yeah.
So like people can come in and tell jokes? Well, the open mic. What are you asking exactly?
Yeah.
Are you wanting to be entertained?
I mean, some people do. The people we book to perform.
Yeah. Yes. I love the people that, what's tonight? It's open mic. Can anybody go up? Well,
sometimes.
If you
kind of
follow the rules and you've signed up for it. I mean, have you ever done comedy? No. I'm pretty funny, my friends say. I bet you are. I bet you're hilarious.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of people that don't realize how different it is being funny in a moment, in a situation, and being funny when you're on stage and all the expectation is that you're supposed to be funny. Like, it's so much harder and weirder, and it takes a lot of practice.
It does. Like, there's very few people. I mean, we all have that one friend who's not a comic, who you just can laugh with for hours.
Yep.
And then you just think, man, if they ever did stand up, it would ruin the relationship,
right?
And then they wouldn't be funny, and then suddenly it's embarrassing.
And thank God they have not the problems we do, narcissism-wise, and they have no desire to.
Like, you know what? You're a great insurance agent. You just keep making your clients laugh, and then that's cool.
Yeah, mechanics.
Don't ever get
a lot of great, funny mechanics.
I love the mechanics that get up there and they have one story, and it's like it's always parts related, or some lady came in looking for, you know what I mean? It's always like it's very specific to their thing, and everybody at work went, you gotta go tell a story.
Yeah,
go tell a story.
A lot of barbers want to do stand up. Yeah, I'm sure. I had one barber one time actually be like, "Oh, you do stand up? Can I run like bits on you?" I was like, "Please, sure." I'm trapped here. You have a knife to my throat. Go for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
What am I supposed to say right now?
Why aren't you laughing? Well, I don't want to move my head.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring this up because I think for the 30 people that listen to this podcast, it's real important that they hear it. One of your goals for like right now with comedy is trying to get out there more. You're not at the club Fridays and Saturdays anymore.
Trying to, So there was a period where I needed to be there more, and now we've gotten past that.
Nice.
So Friday, Saturday, I try to keep that to myself just for my sanity of just really my normal life.
Right.
Because I am married with kids. I barely see my wife. I didn't see her at all yesterday, and I haven't seen her today yet.
Now I feel bad.
No. She's at work.
Okay. Never mind.
She's at work. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, okay.
She's at work, and she's a professional golfer, so she's up early. And
Is she?
Yeah.
I feel like I learned so many weird, crazy things about you that I just wouldn't have guessed over time.
Have you seen my full set though? Ever?
No, I've seen. Okay. I saw you.
I talk about all this stuff in my set.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should just do that. Get on Dry Bar for a month for free. Yeah. That's right. Free trial and
free trial. Use my full name, Brian Kohatsu, in the promo code for free. Anyway, look at that merch pitch in the middle of a thing. Yeah. So I mean, I kind of spend a little bit more time with my wife when I do see her.
Sure.
But also, to get away. I mean, it's too much, between the open mic and like whatever third-party produced shows. And a lot of times people are leaning on me for like, oh, I have a guitar, or I've got a music cue, or I've got this and that. And it's not that everybody else can't handle it there, but not everybody's trained in the booth.
Right, no.
Or we've got two.
And that stuff matters so much.
We need 2 microphones, whatever this is. So I try to make myself available for that. And then with the classes too. I'm teaching classes now. So, and again, something was said on your show. Somebody said something about, there's always the question about classes. I didn't take classes. I teach classes,
right?
But I don't try to teach in a way that's like, this is how you do it.
Right.
That's it. And some people do. I just try to find what people are good at and then hone in on that. And then and there's other things we do. We do exercises and stuff like that to make sure.
There's things you can teach people. Put the microphone stand behind you. Hold the mic close to your mouth.
Stop wrapping the cord in your hand.
There's things you can tell people. There's also things you can't teach.
Don't hand the microphone to the host.
Right.
There's a ton. I mean, there's such a laundry list. Like that, for me, it's the first 2 classes is the most important.
Yeah.
Stay in the light. Talk into the microphone. Don't wrap the cable. Move the mic stand.
I had people do that at my mic the other day. I have a light set up. They just get out of it. I'm like, why? I put that there for you.
Or they're leaning forward. Can't see anything.
It drives me crazy. One time in Oregon, literally, this light right here, the woman's like, this is horrible. It's so bright, and covers it with her scarf. So that it's not on her face. And then she's just dark and bombed for 5 minutes. This is insane.
Last night I did the corporate show, and it was in somebody's backyard. And so the way they had the lights fixed were 2 on each side, a little bit farther back, going this way, and then 1 on the floor, pointing up.
Yeah.
But I noticed after a while where I was standing, I was probably casting a shadow on my face. So I purposely moved over, which then the guy who was going up after me said, yeah, no, I saw you do it. Then I realized, stand to the side, but you got to figure out, because I started thinking like, wait a minute, if I'm blocking my eyes periodically from the light, then I'm putting a shadow easily on, So it's just stuff like that. But, and then like, I don't know, I've tangented off the thing. What the original question was, getting out more.
Sure. Yeah.
The classes hold me back. No, I'm kidding. I enjoy the classes, but yeah, I like teaching that along the way, because I've seen so much bad at the open mics in terms of just like, wow, if you just work on the performance part of it. That's like improv for me is super important, because that's where I came out of. But it's just, what are you doing on stage? Are you using the stage? How are you using the microphone when you're doing your act outs? All that kind of stuff. There's just layer upon layer in that, But so I mean, I try to clear those days so I can still go on the road, come back, be home by Sunday, Monday, and still be able to do my class on Tuesday. So it doesn't interfere with anything, but I at least can try to get out more. So, but it's funny, you get those lulls where you're working so much and you're trying to get your bookings at the same time.
Right.
So when I decided I'm going to do this, bam, I had a ton of bookings, right? And then it's like, but you just, you have to keep that up with the booking end of it.
So hard,
You start getting tired because now you're doing, you're on the road, you're doing stuff, and then you're still trying to make the phone calls and emails and everything else. But I mean, I do a lot of corporate stuff. I do corporates at churches and casinos, that kind of stuff. So I don't do that many clubs. But moral of the story is, I mean, if you can
book me,
but if you can do theaters and stuff like that, you'll make so much more than you will in the clubs.
Of course.
So I told this in class one time, but the fact is, I did Tempe Improv. I hosted for a week, and then I did another offshoot show for somebody in town, and then I did Stand Up Live. I featured there, and then so that weekend I did a total of like 8 shows.
Yeah,
and it's only hosting for the one, and then featuring for the other one, but got $420.
Yeah,
the next Friday I had one show, corporate, only did 10 minutes and got $500. So I made more doing one show than I did doing 8 the week before.
That's where being a clean comic pays off for you, huh?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these shows, definitely. One show you'll make more than you make if you're featuring or headlining. I mean, I've made I made some bank at some of these other corporate gigs.
That's awesome.
So but it's not about the money for me. It's about the laughs and making people feel good.
Or how many, I mean, maybe you don't know, and maybe you wouldn't want to tell me even if you did. How many people are out there like competing for those corporate spots in the area? I know for sure people like, God, he's so funny. What's his name? I feel dumb for forgetting. The black guy that comes out to Stir Crazy a lot. He's like, he was on the show with us, with me, that CJ put on at Cross-Eyed Cricket.
Oh, Keith Ellis?
Keith, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Keith's obviously doing stuff like that.
Keith's one of them, like James. Mark Cordes is the king.
Sure. Are any of the younger guys breaking into that scene at all?
Not.
All right.
None I really know of, to be honest.
Elbow room, yeah.
I mean, corporate's really specialized in that you have to be HR friendly.
Right.
So you really have to understand what the company's doing, where the limits, even though the boss will come up to you like, doesn't matter, they're cool. And
it does matter, right? Yeah,
it takes one lady,
one
lady to complain, and then there's no Christmas party next year. There's no comedians ever. There's
for sure
nothing. So you have to understand that what's HR friendly, what's clean for that audience,
right?
And to be honest, everybody, it's not like a regular show. It really is not, because a lot of times they don't even know you're coming.
Mm-hmm. So like, do you drop the bit where you do the Mexican accent?
No, I'll still do it.
Okay. I'm just curious where the line is.
No,
you're like, that's HR friendly.
Yeah, it works. Nobody's ever said anything. So it's usually the Mexicans who come up to me after the show. They're like, that was really funny.
Yeah. No, it's I'm not criticizing the bit.
No, I know. Criticize all you like. No.
I'm just wondering if you still did it.
Yeah, no, typically, it's
so funny. It sounds like the line's not that crazy.
No,
like,
but
just like no sex stuff.
But the main thing is just a mindset too, because they, again, so if it's a conference and everybody's been out all day doing all these workshops and speakers and all that, and then that night it's like, okay, we're gonna have dinner and then we're gonna have some entertainment. They don't know what the entertainment is. They might think it's gonna be, some musicians or something.
Yeah.
Then when they get comedy, sometimes they're like, I don't want to listen to any more people talk tonight, Or Christmas parties. I did Home Depot one year. Hey guys, you guys have a great year? You guys excited for tonight? Yeah. Did you guys do well? Did you guys get some bonuses? And somebody yelled out, we don't get our bonuses until you get off the stage. I said, well, then let's get this over with.
I probably got a pop.
And I was only doing 20 minutes. So, it just bam, 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 went through it and tried to, I always try to write material.
You're like, I don't get paid unless I do 20 minutes. So you're going to be waiting.
I had a buddy of mine who went out and they introduced him. And basically what happened was, this is terrible.
Yeah.
They told everybody, in lieu of bonuses, we got a comedian tonight.
Oh my God.
And then he walked out and they immediately hated him.
Yeah.
Because
they're like, what? This guy gets paid $50?
He's got our money.
Right.
I don't care how funny you are.
Yeah.
And this guy travels all over the country doing just that, So that was
insane.
It was terrible.
That's an insane way to bring somebody up.
But most of the shows, they're only, 30 minutes, 30 to 45 max is it.
Right.
Because they want to do other things. They want to hang out with all these people. Because, again, all day they've been doing something, or all year they've worked together. Now this is the party. They want to hang out and just.
I mean, short comedy shows are the best. That's why I love Stir Crazy. Keep it to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's like we're not doing more than that. That's
in, you're out, you're done. Yeah. Right. Everybody goes home. We keep it on time.
Audiences don't want more than that.
It's too much.
Sometimes they don't even want that much.
Yeah. And then the comics are like, sometimes as headliners, just like, no, I'm going to give them a little more.
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
If you wanted more, just tell us.
Some headliners are so fucking like just jerking off on stage.
Yeah.
They're just meandering. They're letting their thoughts out. It's like, I don't know. It's crazy.
It's the ones that go over that really kind of just like, just ask for it and we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
We'll just take it out of the feature and the
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So if you want to do 50, Then just tell us ahead of time.
But
we'll work it in because we got another show afterwards, and you're making it harder on the staff and everybody else. Now we got to turn the room faster.
Yeah.
You know, and then that makes us
That's a huge thing.
That makes us resent you. You know. Yeah. So the next time it's like if you do it every show, and then it's like
it's just like you're not Dave Chappelle. You're not drawing a club full of people. We got these people here,
and we can find another comic who's just as funny who's gonna finish on time.
Right? Yeah, exactly. All right, dude, we did it. What do you have to plug for the people out there?
Well, we plugged my Dry Bar special, so you can check that out
on Dry Bar. Free trial.
You use that promo code with my name, and you can get a free month. I do have my album. You can listen to my album on Spotify. Or actually, you can buy it on iTunes, wherever you want. That's on my website, briankohatsu.com. You can check that out. It's a sketch album. It's not a stand-up album, so it's a little bit different. I had to explain that to people who are younger. They don't get it. It's like, you ever hear of Cheech and Chong? Even Adam Sandler used to do sketch albums.
Right, yeah.
So got that going on, and then I've got another pseudo special I'm kind of working on right now, which was a surprise. Somebody recorded it.
Interesting.
4 cameras. This is a charity event I did back in South Carolina. Great. I mean, the audio is fantastic and the visuals are pretty good. But
put it out.
So I'm just going to clean that up and then probably
that out
and then go from there.
How cool. I think you got tour dates on your website probably.
Yeah, most of them are private gigs, I think, right now.
Sure.
You know, so, but, casino gigs too. So if you want to go out of state.
Yeah, if you want to drive 6 hours, watch Brian do comedy.
It's better just to go to the Dry Bar thing. So.
Right on. I just want to say again, I appreciate you helping me set up the video so much. Appreciate you being here, dude.
No, it's my pleasure.
Awesome.